It's good, right?
Yeah.
It's good.
Would you reach for the metric?
Yeah.
I think the metric's quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, funny story. So Collectivo, they're the reason why I have this trophy right here. So for those of you who cannot read this, this is America's Best Cold Brew competition that they did at Navy Pier back in 2017. And in that competition, I got second place.
Wow.
And Collectivo got first place. Welcome to episode 38 of the Sultan of Slow Drip. I'm your host, the Sultan of Slow Drip, joined with Victor.
Hey,
back at it
welcome
again.
back, Justin.
Thank you. Yeah, I got sick in Japan. Yeah, for those of you who watch the show, you know I went to Japan for a while to see my newborn daughter, and my wife, and my firstborn. They're all in Japan right now for 5 months in total. I let them go because they couldn't go during COVID. Mm-hmm. And everybody got sick over there. So,
that's wild.
Yeah.
How long were they sick before you got there?
Like a week before.
Oh, wow.
And some of them are still sick even
wow.
now. Yeah.
What kind of sickness is going on?
No idea.
I still see China severely locking down, so I don't know how it is.
Well, that's the funny thing, too. In Japan, like, people are masking all over the place, like, big time masking. It's actually funny because I got to talk to a few people about it. And because I struggle with the mask. Mm-hmm, like, if I mask for too long, I get migraines. I start throwing up. And everywhere you go in public, you see masking. But then when you go over people's houses or you see them in, like, more kind of, like, private settings, no one's wearing a mask.
Okay.
But, like, in more, like, public and professional settings, people are masking, right? And I just asked a few people, like, what they thought about it. And literally they were like, yo, if I could stop wearing this today, I would. But, like, the social pressure is just
Is
too
Japan
much.
not a country that normally, like, was wearing it pre-COVID?
They were wearing it pre-COVID.
Oh.
And that was one of those things where it was literally to keep you, like, as a sick person from sneezing on other people on the train or something like that, right? That was pretty much the sole purpose.
Would non-sick people wear it? Because I know there are other countries, like Taiwan. Like, there are people that are... And, you know, if our government, if the CDC kind of framed it in a self-interest perspective, like, hey, wear the mask to protect yourself, not necessarily to protect other people.
I've heard of people, wearing it for air quality purposes.
Potentially, yeah.
You know, I don't know if it helps.
I know it's super urban. I talked to someone who was from that area, but she didn't really relate it to the number of scooters that I saw when I was in Taiwan. Like, everyone has a scooter, and you're such close quarters with everyone, and it's easy to inhale, you know. So, you know, I don't know. Even if you're not sick, I still notice almost everyone wearing it. Yeah,
no, they definitely masked a lot beforehand, and it was more so like it would do two things. It was like a social signal that you were a sick person, and also an attempt to kind of live outside of the house and just, like, not necessarily get particulate on people.
Okay.
That was kind of the way it was looked at.
Sure.
And even now, it's not like it's mandatory to do it. It's just like if a place asks you to do it, it's like you have to do it or leave, basically. You know, so some places you go to, like, department stores, stuff like that, no one said anything.
Okay.
Train stations, no one said anything. But, like, I got a hotel room in a nice hotel, and during the buffet, they had you, like, you know, masking, and then you had to, like, they had these, like, automatic glove dispensers, and you had to put on, like, every time you went to get a new plate, you have to go put on some plastic gloves on and stuff like that. And it was like, that was interesting because it's like trying to enjoy this, but, like, also feeling like you're going into a preparation room for, like, surgery.
Yeah. What if they had you, like, have a whole hazmat suit, like,
right? It's like
respirator and everything.
Yeah. So, but, you know, all things considered, though, it was fine. Like, it's just like Japan's a really interesting case of that because it's all, like, socially enforced, and no one wants to be the first person to be like, all right, you know, I'm tired of this personally, I'm done. So everyone still just does it.
And no one shared that sentiment privately, or, like,
the sentiment they share privately is that I wish I could just stop wearing this, but
right.
I'm not going to be the person because then I'll get treated like crap.
Interesting.
So that was their whole thing. Like, social pressure is huge in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting, like the hip hop scene, for example, in Japan. Here in America, you know, you talk about, like, hooliganism kind of, or, like, you know, flexing on people. In Japan, it's literally mostly about nonconformity. It's like what the rap topics are about. That's their hip hop is nonconformity. Because it's right. Because it's such a pressure on people. It's such a pressure on people to conform. It's ridiculous.
Sure. Everyone has their own issues, right, that they're fighting against.
And as a foreigner, it doesn't really. They just talk dirty about you a little bit, like in the news. So that's one thing I noticed on the news. They would always talk about, like, foreigners not wearing masks. And I'm like, oh, here I am, a foreigner, like, not masking. But literally, like, I'm not trying to walk around with migraines all day, like, you know. So that was pretty much that. But
Yeah. Well, welcome home.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was fun. I got to see the whole fam.
Yeah, that's what's most
going
important.
going back around
right,
Christmas
right.
time. So
Right.
yeah, my firstborn, her birthday is a few days before Christmas, and so I'll be there for Christmas, New Year's, her birthday, and then bringing them all back shortly thereafter, and then kind of living normal. I've actually been taking some pretty big steps on the business side of things with that, because this time when I left, Etch a Sweetness, who that's where I used to do my kitchen work. I rented some space from them. They basically took boxes of my product that was to go out, already boxed up with labels and everything in their refrigerator, and I told them to just send them out on the dates that was written on the boxes. They handled that for me just fine. This is going to be a longer trip, and also I just need to start phasing myself out of a lot of things. So I hired my brother. He's been working for me now. He's actually taking a train here to come stay with me, but I'm bringing him on as like an employee, and hopefully, this sticks. He's actually like, because I've invited him so many times. He's kind of, doing his own thing to a great extent. But this time around, he felt like, let me actually take Justin up on this offer, because if plans go the way I hope they'll go, in a few years, I'll be living in Japan mostly anyway, and just like visiting America. So I would need someone to kind of take over the physical aspect of the business. And, family's the first choice that you go to with these sort of things. But so my brother's been working for me, and I've been teaching him how to do stuff. I taught him, a little bit of brewing and stuff like that, and he knows how to package things. And
he's into it?
He's into it. That's cool. So we'll see how it goes. But like, I feel myself letting go more than ever before.
Is that a hard process for you?
It is, because I'm so used to like doing it. I'm just used to doing it. And it's like the patience to show someone how to do it and then just back off is it's just a muscle I haven't trained very much.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to make sure that I'm
letting
just
them
doing
fail.
it. Yeah. Just sitting there watching them do it the wrong way, so I can just be like, okay, let me show you how to do it the right way, and let them do it and don't interrupt it. Like that way they can see that it was the wrong way.
They have to learn it for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. So, if I know something is going to spill, I just let it spill, and I'm like, I'll just go and help him clean it rather than stop him from doing it.
That's good.
So, and that's been a growth opportunity. So I feel like each time I do that, it pays me a dividend back.
You'll get your time back. Yeah.
I get my time back, and I'm going to need it big time, because we got one more kid now. I'm going to be putting Sora back into her classes. She's going to be doing gymnastics again. She's going to be swimming
nice. I didn't
again.
know she was doing gymnastics.
Yeah. So yeah, and she's bigger now, so she's more capable. So yeah, her swimming was going really well. And she asks about it too. She's like, when we go back to Chicago, can I go back to class?
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm gonna have to do that and have another kid.
And as a parent, all you could ask for is to provide as many opportunities, right, for them.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that. So if everything with my brother works out quite nicely, it'll let me be more consistent, because now I have more manpower around here to help service my clients, and then really help my wife out, who is gonna need it big time.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Well, what do we got on the table today, Justin?
So today I thought I would run back some of our coffee tasting.
Bring it back to coffee.
Yeah, right. We're getting back to coffee. And this time we're actually going to do some locals, because I managed to stumble across quite a few local coffees. Okay. People are canning like crazy right now, and I just want to see what they have to offer. And, you always want to be in the coffee industry, tasting other people's products. So I'm going to go through those real quick. And then I just have a little bit of my coffee on the table, just as kind of like a baseline comparison, just to see the type of bean being used, the clarity, because we know that, Kyoto Black is a pretty high standard. So, anything that kind of can approach or exceed it would be like definitely a must buy, something that would earn a lot of respect. So
awesome. Okay. Do you have an order already, like of how we're going to start?
I don't actually. And what I'm going to do is just start from here. This is the closest one to me.
Okay.
So before that, though, we're just going to do a little palate calibration here.
Yeah, we briefly talked about me kind of holding some bottles for the EMT class. What do they go for resale?
So most places will sell them for like $4.50.
Okay. You think people would go for $5?
Yeah. Nice. Right off the bat, that aroma is really nice on the Kyoto Black. And then also, like, let's take a look and just compare these, like, visually. So, like, there's a huge visual difference right off the bat.
So do you think they like add some cream to this?
No.
Or why is this like poopy color?
Well, it probably has like to do with the type of like filtration style on it, if I had to guess. I mean, immersion coffees are just not as clear. Like it's just like a French press.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
You know?
yeah. That's
So, yeah.
that's what it reminds you of.
Yeah, so it could also have a little bit of nitro in there. I do see that kind of foaminess on top.
Yeah.
That makes me think it might be a nitro, but it didn't really like sizzle or go or anything like that. So, but yeah, if you can see that there on, actually my skin is the same color as the coffee, so let's use a different background.
More pungent on the nose.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of cloud to it. All right, just start off with the calibrate there.
Yeah, yours is a little tighter but cleaner.
Yeah, tighter. Yeah, this one definitely has like a more kind of like, what is that? Like husky?
The skin or
Like
what do you mean?
like corn husk or something like that. Like wet carbohydrate.
Yeah, well, wet something.
Yeah,
for sure.
like wet carbohydrate, like a vegetable or something, or like maybe some root vegetable that was cut up or something like that.
It smells like a market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does smell like a market.
Did you try yours already?
I did. Wow, the flavor is totally different from what I was expecting on the metric.
Okay.
Yeah, I took a sip of my first one just to calibrate, like, you know, got that clean chocolate right off the bat. This one, when you taste it, yeah, it's completely unexpected, right? Like,
I wasn't expecting a lighter.
it's
roast,
a lighter
yeah.
fruit kind of pop through.
Yeah. Based on the color too, right? Like color and smell, like you're not expecting such a light. But you know, you think people associate more fruitiness, floral with cold brew in general, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's so dependent on the style. Like, you really do have to look and see whether it's a dark roast or a light roast coffee.
What's crazy is people are probably drinking this straight from the can.
Mm-hmm. They're not really getting to see that so much, the color or the appearance.
Yeah.
This actually tastes a lot better than it looks or smells.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm glad you grabbed the dark matter because I think I've had, I don't know if it's the exact same one, but I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, cool. This is actually quite good.
Yeah, we'll see if the dark matter holds up.
I was kind of nervous because, you know, you never want to say like things that are like heavily critical of like especially smaller local companies. So I'm actually really, really happy that this like tastes, because I was expecting some sediment, you know, just by the murkiness of it. And it actually doesn't have any sediment as far as I can tell. It's really clear and clean. Nice and lively, nice
But
acidity.
if you were to guess immersion, right?
That's just how immersion works.
Is that also kind of just the more effective way of brewing larger quantities?
It's way easier to do large quantities.
Easier. Maybe not efficient or effective, but like easier.
It's easier.
Yeah.
It's way easier. Yeah. So that's why most people do it. Like,
Okay.
if you're like, oh, I'm gonna take, $7 million in seed funding and, you know, pay back all these people and do this massive big project.
Yeah.
Immersion is probably easier to just manage.
But you know what's also interesting is how many, once they've paid back the seed funding, how come they don't dabble in drip?
Well, I think because at that point you're just trying to scale the one product.
Okay.
You know, because like once you get good at one thing, you're better off just like squeezing that harder than you are trying to go into something else until you really see like, okay, there's nothing coming out of this anymore. Like, we squeezed it dry, and no one squeezed cold brew dry yet. Like, there is no cold brew company out there that I've seen, at least, that has like penetrated to the point where like the biggest companies have like 1% market share. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no one who's like, oh, we got this so good that we can actually branch off.
Coca-Cola of cold brew.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know,
and even then it's like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know exactly what market share, you know, Coca-Cola has of all like soft drinks, but I bet it's more than 1%.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe when someone's like, oh, we hit like 5% market share or whatever, you know, like that trigger is where the extra effort you put into that one thing you're already doing is not really getting you returns anymore.
Yeah.
Then I can see them doing it, you know, because it's a smaller project. It's a smaller project. So it's like.
The other thing is trying to maintain the magic, you know, of a small business as you scale.
Yeah. I mean, that for me, I feel like is just like why I'm here. The magic is what brought me into the game. You know, it's why I do it. It's like when I had Kyoto style was literally like everyone should try this. That was my my feeling. That's why I was like, because I could have easily said I'm gonna go into like immersion and do really good immersion, right? And be totally like fine with it, but it's not really what I was excited about. Like,
it's crazy because like not many people have really still dabbled or caught on to this.
It's hard.
It's labor intensive.
It's hard. Yeah. You have to build up a lot of intuitive knowledge on how to do it. Like, and I made so many mistakes and wasted so much coffee, and I poured so much coffee down the drain. Yeah. So much coffee. It happens way less. I had to do it last year. I had to pour like $700 worth of coffee down the drain.
But you had the integrity to
I did it.
To share it too.
Yeah. I did it. I was like, I'm gonna pour this out.
I mean, imagine the outcry when people if people got delivered, pungent or sour coffee from you.
Yeah, I was just like, this is not really, I screwed up something on the brew. I'm going to dump it all.
Yeah.
And it's like, just move on.
That's great.
Business is still here, so. Yeah, I like this. I got to give it a score, though.
It's out of the 100 score, right?
Out of 100, yeah.
Maybe, okay. I'll have a number. Let's see. I got a number.
86.
80, yeah, it was like low 80s, 81, 82.
Okay.
Yeah.
You going to give it 81?
Let's go for that. Yeah.
Okay. Any comments?
No, very similar sentiment. I was thoroughly surprised with the taste after the smell. This is something that I would, look for if I was looking for canned cold brew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very doable. Reasonably priced. I don't think I held it up, so I'm going to hold it up now.
Are these all Whole Foods?
Actually, I went to Dom's Market.
Dom's.
Yeah, so that's been...
For the longest time, I did not know Dom's is part of Dominic's.
Is it?
Yeah.
What?
It's part of the family.
Didn't know that.
It's part of the family. I think they're also merging. Don't quote me on this. Like they're also merging like Mariano's and.
Oh really?
Dom's or Mariano's and I don't know. They're like the family's like coming together.
Oh, okay. Well, they're doing a great job.
Go against Amazon,
I feel like I don't know. Should I do the dark matter last because it's a little different?
What's different about it?
It's hot brewed.
Oh, yeah. We can do it last.
Yeah, I'll do this last. We're gonna come back to the dark matter. All right. So next one is Collectivo.
Oh, definitely haven't had that one. I don't think I've had any of these. I didn't know Mars was making coffee.
Yeah, they are. They also have a CBD coffee.
I've seen that on the shelves. CBD, just seltzer CBD, like CBD drinks.
Yeah, they have different CBD drinks. So this is from Collectivo.
Okay. I've only been there maybe once or twice.
They're out of Milwaukee, and they actually have a pretty big presence in Chicago as well.
Yeah.
Funny story about them too. I'll pour this up first. Let's see. So it says brewed in-house over 18 hours. Notes of sweet citrus, berry, and chocolate taffy finish. Let's pour it out. Wow. Look at that.
It's like molasses.
Yeah, it is like molasses. It's darker than my black label. All right, here you go. Look at that. That is pretty dark.
It's clean, though. It's probably... You think this is drip?
It might not be. Let's see. It's pretty clean. I mean, you can get a similar appearance to drip just using filters.
Yeah.
Can
you pass me the can?
Pass you what now?
The can.
The can?
Yeah.
Here you go.
I just want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, you can get fine enough filtration on it that it can have that same clarity that drip has without actually having to drip it.
Okay.
They're just very, expensive filters. I would say, based on the appearance, it's not.
I do smell that chocolate taffy-ish something. You know?
It smells like a Tootsie Roll. Yeah. Nice sweet nose. Really nice sweet nose. Almost like a little bit of melon on the nose as well, too. Like a sort of watermelon type.
So if they say brewed in-house over 18 hours, anything longer than that, is that going to extract something, things that you don't want? Or how does...
So, for my personal opinion, I think the shorter you can make the brew, the better.
That's so unintuitive.
Yeah, I think personally, the shorter you can make your cold brew, the better.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you're brewing, more than, honestly, for my opinion, if you're brewing more than 12 hours or 16 hours, you're probably going a little too far. But because you have to go coarser. And the coarser you go, the more kind of inconsistent your ground size is going to be. And the more inconsistent your ground size is, the more likely there is to be some off balancing.
Okay.
Whereas the shorter you go, the finer your coffee has to be. The finer it is, the more consistent the particle size is. The more consistent the particle size is, the more likely you are to get even extraction across every single particle.
Interesting.
That's how I look at it.
Would it drip faster with finer ground?
Slower.
That's what I mean. So
Right.
how do you...
It's immersion, so you just pull
Oh,
it out.
immersion. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I guess I'm still in the drip method.
Now, you could clog your filter, right? But that's where pressure comes in. You can push it through a filter.
But then you're forcing things out, right?
So it becomes this little dance of like, how good is your filtration?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the trick.
Okay.
So, and then also a matter of how much coffee are you willing to just leave behind? Because I know there are some places where they brew the coffee and they just like, they don't want to squeeze the grounds or anything. So they just let them drip until it stops dripping. Like once they like imagine a big bucket with a sieve in it and they do their cold brew and they pull the sieve out and they let it just clean out. And then once it stops dripping, they're like, that's all the coffee we're getting out of this.
There's still some coffee
There's still some coffee in there, but we're not going to force it out. We'll just let it. That's
a smart move, though.
Yeah. So, and that's, sometimes you have to do that to go finer.
Because you get the quantity.
You get what you need out of it. And you get good filtration off of it. And you can shorten your time. And sometimes just shortening in time is worth it.
Yeah.
So, because you can honestly do cold brew in a couple of hours. You can make cold brew in 2 hours.
Yeah.
I've done Kyoto style in like 90 minutes and made it totally fine coffee.
Okay, I didn't know that.
It's doable.
Is it just coarse, a little coarser than usual, or how did you do
it's fine.
That? Really?
Yeah, it's just like such a small quantity of coffee.
Okay,
that you just go right through.
I got you.
It's a patience game. You have to know when to add the water and like how fast to run it. And you can saturate it, let it absorb, and then run it. But like knowing how to do that, like. That's what separates the pros from the amateurs.
It's time consuming. It's labor intensive.
Yeah, you take a lot of time learning how to do it.
Yeah,
and then the actual doing of it becomes
you have to physically be present though, right?
Second nature. Yeah, you got to watch it.
What yeah.
You definitely got to watch it. No fruit really, just like kind of classic.
Yeah, classic. It's just flat.
Yeah.
Disappears.
Classic, kind of like milk chocolatey. Not really dark chocolate, more like milk chocolate.
What a surprise, because it's nice on the nose.
Yeah, it is nice on the nose. A little bit of caramel, like soft caramel. Like those caramel chews.
So the taste is reminiscent of immersion style then?
Well, it's more so like the roast on it.
Oh.
And then the bean selection. It's got that kind of classic, like, milk chocolate. I think most people would be totally fine with this, honestly. Like,
yeah.
It's not terribly interesting, but it is, like, it's really good for what it is, honestly. Like, there's a market for this.
Sure.
And it's not like it's a market of people who don't have a good palate or anything. It's a market of people who like just chocolate. Like that chocolate profile cold brew.
Yeah, it's like dark chocolate.
Yep, it just hits that one note. For me, it's like more kind of milky.
Okay.
But like it just hits that one like chocolate
sweeter
note.
for you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's not
sweeter.
That sweet for me. So I get like the almost the bit. Cause it's funny because you're more sensitive to bitter, but like I get more of that bitterness.
I mean, I do get the bitterness. Like there's a dryness on my tongue, but there's quite a bit of sweetness down the throat. Like and it's got like this kind of caramely thing going. It's actually really nice.
Yeah. Probably
a little bit
astringent,
astringent on the finish.
Yeah.
A little bit astringent on the finish.
What would you give this?
If it were not for the astringency, I'd probably honestly give it like 85.
High? Was that higher or lower?
I think it's 1 point lower than what I gave.
Wow.
If it were not for the astringency. With the astringency, though, I'm going to give it like an 80.
Yeah, I'm thinking 78, 79.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else don't you like about it that's like not doing it for you?
In relative to other cold brews, that's why.
Gotcha. Okay.
I guess which is unfair, but like on a standalone, well, is it unfair? Because like I don't know, I wouldn't reach for this. I wouldn't reach for this. It's like it's good, right? Yeah. It's good.
Would you reach for the metric?
Yeah.
I think the metric's quite good.
Yeah.
And also like funny story. So Collectivo, they're the reason why I have this trophy right here. So for those of you who cannot read this is America's Best Cold Brew competition that they did at Navy Pier back in 2017. And in that competition, I got second place.
Wow.
And Collectivo got first place.
Wow.
Which is really funny. And a little interesting story about that is there was basically two judging kind of criteria. There was like the people who would actually attend it would get in line and try all the coffees and then vote. And then you had 3 judges. And I made it to the finals against Collectivo, and I ended up losing. And I was like, oh, what was the vote? And they were like, well, you got 76% of the popular vote, but all 3 judges voted for Collectivo, so their scores are weighted. And I was like, oh, what are they weighted by? And they were like, it was, because I was like, if they're weighted by like 33% or something, like whatever it was on the site that they said, the judges have like an additional weighting to their score, I still win because I have 51% if you account for the weighting. And then they told me, they're like, oh, we changed the weighting too, so the weighting's heavier. So now it's like 41% instead of 33% more. And I was like, damn.
Wow, that was close.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you get 76% of the popular vote and still lose. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And I did a whole video on it, like, it's still on the Kyoto Black page.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I did a whole video on like that day. It was like kind of a
Yeah.
vlog style.
Yeah.
The competition. It's actually a pretty good video, all things considered, like production wise. And then just like kind of ran through that, and I was like,
When can we expect like
funny.
another Coffee Con or another event where you would pop up at? 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember you used to pop up a lot. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
was it Uva or Uva?
yeah, Butterdale.
Butterdale, right?
Yeah,
Like just
yeah.
stuff like that.
Right. I mean, when the world gets a little more normal, because I feel like things aren't still like really popping off like they were before too. Like there are so many more events that, like, Coffee Con, there hasn't been a Coffee Con in a long time. Even that competition, they changed the format of that to the point where I don't want to do it.
Because beer fests are coming back. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I could see doing something like that. And also too, now that I have my brother on board, I could also see the trike getting dusted off and showing up with the trike more frequently. Because doing all that I do plus triking was like killing myself.
What was a hot spot for triking?
In the neighborhoods, like Wicker Park,
nice.
Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
I would actually post up in Lincoln Park, like down the street from the Green City Market.
Not sure.
Like they do a farmer's market there.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I know where that. By
Yeah.
the zoo. Okay.
Yeah, I would just post up like a block away from there, and
I
just
remember
get-
you telling me it's like you didn't have a permit at the time. So
Well, I did.
Oh, did you?
I did,
Like
but
maybe it was another
it's not
one,
a park
but-
district permit.
Okay.
That's the park district, so you can't sell at the park district.
Oh, right.
But if you pull up adjacent, before I was being really savage about it, because I would literally just pull up on the curb,
Hey, man.
and then people would be like, "Hey, you can't do that because we have a permit. You need a park district permit." And I was like, "Hey, the street is not the park district. This is public property, and I have that permit right here." And I would just tap my permit, and they'd have to suck it up and walk off. And then in order to like not like make so many enemies, I was like, all right, I'll just move a little further away, just to be kind of nice.
There probably were coffee vendors and stuff.
There probably were. So I was just like, whatever. But technically, I was totally correct to do it because I'm literally parked in the street. Like,
It's amazing.
I can service you. So fun times.
All right. Which one is this one?
So this one is Ferris Coffee Company.
That's Chicago. I've never heard of that one.
I don't think it's Chicago. I've never heard of it.
Oh,
either.
okay.
It's Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Grand Rapids.
Yeah. I was gonna say Washington Beach, Chicago. No.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, right. Oh, that sounded like some nitro there. Oh boy.
What's up?
I don't know. I just caught a whiff of something. I hope it wasn't the coffee.
What else would it be?
It could be anything. It could be my grease trap. No.
Oh, man.
All right, and then also, so this says is a light roast Columbia nitro cold brew with notes of caramel, nuts, and citrus.
Okay.
Yep. All right, let's get in here. Not a whole lot of nitro on this. I don't know if I was supposed to shake it. I remember we ran into that issue before where like some of the nitros you shake, some of them you don't. They don't tell you. So
Oh. Nutty.
I think that was the coffee I smelled. This one might be faded.
Oh, that's pungent.
Yeah, that's faded.
Well, we've been surprised by the taste before.
Yeah, as soon as I opened it, I was like, damn, I think that's faded. You smell it?
I smell pungent.
Okay, like what kind of pungent?
Jalapeno like a sour, almost spicy pungent.
See, I get like a little bit of like this hot doggy kind of like sweaty smell.
Wet hot dog, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna taste it anyway just to confirm. Let's see what it says. Drink by January 14th, 2023. So that more or less checks out. That could also be at the tail end of its. I don't know what their standard is, but it's.
But see, here's the other thing. If people are drinking it out of the can, how often are they taking a whiff of it?
Oh, I smelled it as soon as I opened the can.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't even put it up to my face. I literally cracked the can.
You've subconsciously trained yourself to do that.
Yeah, right. So we'll see. I mean, the amount of faded product that I've actually had off the shelf is like really shocking.
Oh.
And I would say to anybody who's like drinking coffees off the shelf, one of the big things that you can do to keep yourself from drinking faded coffees is drink coffees in the refrigerated aisle instead of the shelf stable aisle. I think most of the shelf stables are faded.
Okay.
Just by the nature of coffee, like. Oh boy.
It's kind of the same thing with juices.
Yeah.
They have to be pasteurized.
Right.
So if you want like grape juice, an unpasteurized juice, you probably have to go to a small business versus a big box.
And it's a huge difference. Man, I'm almost nervous. I got like this kind of bell peppery thing going.
It's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not gonna make me sick. Oh well.
Yeah, that's not
faded.
good.
That's faded. Yep. Fade.
Boo,
Damn.
Ferris! What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's hard to judge a coffee when it's faded because you don't know if it's actually good.
Like, do they? I wonder if they think that's good.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that doesn't taste the way it tastes when it left their factory. It faded. Like, literally, it diminished. Either it was held warm, or it is too old. It's usually one of those two for fade.
I mean, the expiration date or the best buy is not, so.
I just don't know what. See, that's why the made on date is the standard as far as I'm concerned. Like, I put made on dates. Like, I don't do.
Because you don't know when this was made.
You don't know when it was made. And I know.
Beers do that.
The grocers will ask them. They have their own standards. They'll like, hey, they'll ask, can you do a Best Buy plus 90? So it's like, whatever the day is, plus 90, Best Buy. I only like doing made on dates.
Okay.
And then people can take it from there.
How long are your bottles good for?
I honestly put them on the shelf with the intention of them being consumed within that month. Like within 30 days.
30 days, okay.
I tell people when they ask me, like, how long is your coffee good for? I say, I would appreciate if you didn't sell it for longer than 6 weeks.
Okay.
That's what I tell them. And then I leave it at that point. I'm like, I would appreciate if you didn't sell it for longer than 6 weeks. So I know some places do. I've considered like not servicing some people, based on knowing how long my coffee sits. It's just one of those, it's a weird dance,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that the coffee should be generally consumed within 30 days, like cold brew.
I wonder, what you're going to have to do if you ever want to sell in a big box.
Maybe I won't. Or maybe I'll start pasteurizing.
Like, you have the ability to have that relationship with your retailers.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather scale by doing vending machines than doing that.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we've talked about that.
There are ways to do that. And actually, I'm eyeing my first vending machine, so...
Nice.
I would much rather go in that direction just to preserve the coffee.
And did you say O'Hare or Ogilvy?
No.
Or
Ogilvy.
Ogilvy,
Yeah,
right?
the French Market, you can rent space in the French Market. So
Union Station then. That's Union Station.
No, it's Ogilvy.
Is that Ogilvy? That's French
it's
Market?
Ogilvy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Union Station's further south.
They're like really, yeah, it is
very
further
close.
south. Yeah, they're very close.
Yeah, it's
okay.
like almost a mile
That's
south.
cool, man.
Yeah, so that would be the place that I would look because you can get rented space in the French Market.
Yeah.
And just put a vending machine there.
See, we we should document that.
That would be, yeah.
We should document that.
That would be awesome, yeah. And the company I'm looking at, they brand them out really nicely. So, damn, that was sad. Oh, I'm
excited for the. Oh, I guess we got 2 left, right? But I'm excited for the Mars one.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Mars one too. There we go.
You got 2 more.
Would you be able to grab 2 more?
You got 2 more over there.
Those I was drank out of already. Yeah, thanks. So this next one is by Mars. They're a local beer brewer, and they got into the coffee game. This one's called Daily Coffee. And let's see if there's any. So El Salvador farmer Carlos Raul Riviera Menendez, sorry. The varietals are Bourbon, Pacamara. I love Pacamara. Kenya, I didn't know Kenya was a varietal, but wouldn't surprise me. Fully washed, patio dried. So they're giving you the whole rundown.
Yeah, so that's really on their own. They're not really collabing. I saw that it was roasted at Bridgeport, but they're not using like Bridgeport's methods or beans or roast.
So I guess maybe they're bringing their own roaster in. You think like their own person to roast it, or because it doesn't say roasted by.
No, roasted at. Yeah.
Interesting. Let's take a look.
It's nice.
All right. Definitely based on that appearance, this is an immersion coffee. Some light nitro on there. I imagine they have a nitro dosing.
Like what was funny is like
machine there.
Beer, was kind of seen as contaminated when it was hazy.
Yeah.
Like that, but hazy IPAs are great.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Aw. What the heck?
Oh boy.
A little pungent again.
I think we got some fade there.
It smells like ramen.
It's like, savory smelling, like that meaty. Damn. Wow. It's like soy sauce. It's like the packet that you get in the ramen, like the flavor packet. The dried one.
The
dried
spices,
powder. Yeah. It smells like that a little bit. I think, it's faded. Hot dog water. All right, let's get in there.
Yeah. Nah.
I got something a little coconutty, but very slight fade on it. Slight fade.
Yeah, but still, I'm not digging it.
Yeah.
It's like kind of berryish, but it's like also just more water to me than anything.
Yeah. Well, I think they chose a very light acidic coffee varietal.
Yeah.
And the fade just like killed the acidity a bunch, so you're not really getting what you would like out of it, the sparkliness. Oh, you know what? I guess we don't score faded coffees. Yeah, it's pointless to score faded coffee. Yeah. I wonder if I should even score this because it does have a slight fade on it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. That's so tough because I could tell that this could potentially be a really good coffee. It's just got some fade on it.
Is that, you said it's either, temperature, like it was warm.
Yeah.
It wasn't always in a fridge.
Right. Or it was like held too long.
Okay.
And this one, the printing, you can't read it. It's smeared. So whatever the date is on there, you don't know. Yeah. Damn. No. That's, yeah. Okay. Well, we can't score it really.
All right.
There's
last
just
one.
A little fade on that. All right. Last one. Chocolate City. Actually, this is the most expensive coffee on the table.
My buddy brings that in. You met him, Alex, when you were at Cindy's, but he brings that in every time I see him. Yeah.
So I've been wondering for a while because this is like a full like $1 to sometimes $1.50 more
for less amount.
Yeah, for less amount, and it's hot brewed. So let's see what that's about.
You got to give kudos to how experimental dark matter is.
Yeah.
I do like that.
I really like what they did with the bodega there. And actually, I did a blog post on that very concept, like maybe 4 months before they actually popped up with it, like saying someone should do a concept like this.
Can you explain? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the bodega.
Basically, they were doing a drip and draft only. Oh. And I was saying that if you look at profit margins, espresso drinks don't make sense. And if you look at consistency and serviceability, like drip and draft, drip coffee, hot drip coffee, and draft beverages, they both just require the pull of a lever. You service people, you just churn them, customers.
Okay.
And I was like, that's the model. If you want to open a place that like makes good money, don't even worry about espresso drinks, just drip and draft. If someone wants hot, drip. If someone wants cold, draft. That's it. And like literally they just opened that concept like 4 months after I posted about it.
Wow.
And I was like, that's a smart move. I think that's the way you get your foot into a really profitable location for servicing coffee. Because literally drip coffee is what keeps you in business.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, drip coffee keeps you in business. Like, it's the best margin, the best use of your employees' time is making drip coffee, not a pour over, not a latte, not any of the other stuff. It's all drip coffee. So if you could open a location that just strictly served drip coffee, you kill. I mean, that's why Dunkin' kills. You know, they obviously make donuts and stuff, but their coffee program is so simple.
Right.
They basically have a drip and draft program. So,
yeah.
You know, another thing too, I didn't mention this at the time, but the Mars actually has preservatives in it too, which makes the fade even more.
That's weird.
Maybe that's what we're tasting, but before, because it's got potassium sorbate and sodium benzoate, which
preservatives, huh?
Yeah, which is the first time I've seen preservatives in a small batch coffee, which I don't think is necessary, honestly, if you're just making at a scale where you are not keeping it on the shelf too long.
Kind of getting like banana, some type of tropical.
I mean, mostly I'm getting roast from it. That's the predominant aroma, is roast. It's got a nice foamy, like, it looks pretty thick, you know, like some viscosity to it.
Yeah. Roasty.
Yeah, roasty. Not very diluted. Like, this is pretty concentrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like it's
like it was meant to be in a small container.
Like it was meant to be a small container. Yeah, now I see why they did that. That's, yeah. That makes sense. I think
like it just has the same amount of punch.
It's
not
punchy.
More,
it's
right?
punchy, yeah. That's literally what I was going to say. It's punchy, yeah.
Interesting.
I'll just pour myself a little bit more of this young to just calibrate the palate. It's just very, like, one note, like, kind of aggressive on the roast, like the acrid.
Yeah.
Like
at
that
the,
kind of,
the
yeah,
aftertaste,
like it's a little too roasty for me.
Yeah.
But then again, I can see where people, like, there's just some people who like that really roasty kind of coffee profile.
And I don't know, it's kind of like pungent in the beginning. But maybe some people also associate that with cold brew.
Yeah.
Like it's acidic in the beginning.
Yeah.
Or I guess punchy. Right? That punch is like maybe some people associate cold brew with that.
I'm going to give it an 83. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I think that extra punchiness does give it kind of like a value added, where it's almost like it's a concentrate.
Okay.
So for people who want to have like that really strong experience, like, because there are some people who get just pumped by the fact that they're drinking so strong coffee.
You're right.
You know, and I think that does add a little bit to it in terms of its like actual flavor. It's not far off from the Collectivo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very similar. Yeah, like one note. It's just like a more aggressive version of it.
How many people do you know drink your concentrate straight up?
I mean, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. It's probably still the minority, though. I think most people mix it. Most people find it fantastically stronger than I do. Like, to me, it doesn't even seem like it's all that strong.
Okay.
Because I'm tasting it straight all the time.
Right.
But a lot of people, they're like making all these faces like, oh my God, like, oh, mustache twirl and stuff. So.
Yeah. I love that. Just like the first, you're trying to share like something phenomenal, whether that's like Malort with a friend or Kyoto Black with a friend, and you're waiting for their like reaction. Of like, this is some strong, good shit. Like, this is good shit.
And I do think that for most people, the concentrate is probably too strong for them to drink straight up. I found that a lot when I gave out samples. I had to give out samples of diluted coffee because people were just like, "Oh, that's so strong," and to me, I'm like, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was a pretty solid lineup overall.
Yeah.
Thoroughly surprised by Metric. Right. That was the first.
That was Metric was actually like the surprise.
Favorite,
Yeah, that's definitely the favorite. And then, you know, maybe we'll try again and see if we can get some ones that are not like faded.
Yeah.
It's always unfortunate when you get faded coffee because it's not necessarily a reflection on the people who made the coffee. It could just be that it was stored too long or kept on the shelf too long. So yeah, I don't want to give a score on the faded coffee. It's just not fair. But yeah, so that's that.
Man. Yeah, thanks for putting this together.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you're traveling. Are we doing more between now and Christmas?
Yeah, so we're going to do one more episode
Okay.
On schedule for you know how we've been doing it. And then I will be gone. And then I'll come back. So we'll basically end up just skipping a week, barring anything crazy.
We'll do like a New Year episode next
Yeah.
time. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do a New Year episode. So yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you found this informative, and we'll catch you next time.